Welcome back to TPS. Every NFL fan and pundit has a soft spot for bloopers. Even the greatest football players in the world make mistakes that you'd only expect to see in a slapstick comedy performance. Of course, some teams like the Browns and Jets have committed more bloopers and gaffes than other squads, but at the end of the day, all 32 teams had that one iconic and embarrassing blooper that went down in infamy. It's the blooper that their team will forever be most remembered for. So let's get right into it and take a look at the most hilarious, embarrassing blooper in the history of all 32 NFL teams. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Arizona Cardinals, Bill GRAMATICA tears ACL on celebration. You almost never see a kicker celebrate when he makes a field goal in the first quarter. And you practically never see a kicker suffer an injury when they do celebrate a successful field goal. But there's a first time for everything. Cardinals kicker Bill GRAMATICA once tore his ACL after getting overly excited following a field goal in the opening frame against the New York Giants.
It's got the distance. Martin GRAMATICA, 15 for 19 this season, and he hurt himself.
And let the Falcons' Julio Jones drops gimme touchdown. When all is said and done, Julio Jones will likely go down as the greatest wide receiver of the past decade. But even the best of the best have their embarrassing moments. And for Jones, this was an easy touchdown that he dropped in a 2017 game against the Carolina Panthers.
Ryan airs it out all alone, juggled, incomplete.
Baltimore Ravens' Billy Cundiff's missed field goal in AFC title game. The Ravens were on the verge of defeating the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Joe Flacco drove them down into the red zone, but wide receiver Lee Evans had the game-winning TD knocked out of his hands by Sterling Moore. 2 plays later, reliable kicker Billy Cundiff lined up for an easy 32-yard field goal that would have sent the game into overtime. Instead, disaster struck.
In the fourth quarter on field goals, 32 yards to tie it. And the kick, look out, it's still good.
The Ravens cut Cundiff after the season and found themselves Justin Tucker, the most accurate kicker in NFL history. And they went on to win the Super Bowl a year after Cundiff's blunder. Buffalo Bills let's not recover the kickoff. The lowly Bills and New York Jets were playing for nothing but pride and draft positioning in Week 17 of the 2016 season. It was just another disappointing non-playoff year for the two clubs, and the Bills really looked like a team that had given up, wanting just to head home. Case in point, this play. Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton ignores fumble in Super Bowl 50. The Panthers trailed the Denver Broncos 16-10 with 4 minutes to play in Super Bowl 50. Von Miller got to Newton and forced a fumble, and for some reason the 2015 league MVP didn't make much of an effort to recover the football.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and Cam Newton decides not to.
Denver would put the game away with a C.J. Anderson touchdown. Not sure why Newton wouldn't make an effort when it was only the Super Bowl on the line. Needless to say, that effort was downright embarrassing. Cincinnati Bengals Andy Dalton's backwards pass. Andy Dalton has had some good moments with the Bengals, and he should be regarded as the best quarterback in their history. Dalton got the Bengals to the playoffs in his rookie 2011 season, but like all first-year players, Dalton wasn't immune to rookie mistakes. Just look at this big whoopsie-daisy he had in a game against the Seahawks.
Play action, they tried to throw it back, and now the ball is loose.
Chicago Bears Marcus Cooper's Leon Lett impression. Former Dallas Cowboys star Leon Lett revolutionized a now popular mistake where a player fumbles before he crosses the plane for a touchdown. Well, Marcus Cooper of the Bears did a perfect Lett impression when he botched an easy blocked field goal touchdown during a 2017 game against the Steelers.
Every NFL player should be required to watch Super Bowl.
Cleveland Browns game-winning field goal becomes game-losing field goal. No team finds more hilarious ways to lose games than the Cleveland Browns. No wonder they've been the ultimate NFL laughingstock for 2 decades. Take this prime example when the Browns attempted a game-winning field goal against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football in the 2015 contest. It's not often you see a game-winning field goal attempt turn into a game-losing blocked field goal for a touchdown, only the Browns. Dallas Cowboys Leon Lett's Thanksgiving gaffe. The Cowboys hosted the Miami Dolphins in what turned out to be a very memorable 1993 Thanksgiving game. Of course, Cowboys fans remember this one for all the wrong reasons. Miami kicker Pete Stoyanovic's game-winning field goal was blocked. The Cowboys just had to leave the football alone, let the clock run out, and the game would be theirs.
And this has become a memorable Thanksgiving Day game. Will it go in the win column to Dallas or Doug Peterson to hold? Blocked!
But that's definitely not what happened. Instead, defensive tackle Leon Lett slipped in the snow and touched the football, allowing Miami to recover and get another shot. This time Stoyanovic's kick was good, and the Dolphins narrowly came away with the victory.
Watch what happens.
Denver Broncos safety first in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 48 between the Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks was one of the most hyped-up games in NFL history. It featured a record-breaking offense led by MVP Peyton Manning against the Legion of Boom defense. But oh, the game was practically over on the first play from scrimmage. The Seahawks won the game 43-8, by the way. Detroit Lions' Dan Orlovsky's self-safety. The Lions made history in 2008 by losing all 16 of their games. Yep, it was a downright horrible season. The entire year could be summed up with Dan Orlovsky's inadvertent self-safety during a road game against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, where he's on the field. And you can see him, he didn't even know he was out of bounds. Tough situation for a young quarterback, but you always got to be aware.
Sorry, Dan, the end zone is only so big. Green Bay Packers' Pat Lee's kick return gaffe. Week 17 of the 2011 season between the Packers and the Lions is remembered fondly in Green Bay. Backup QB Matt Flynn had 480 yards and 6 touchdowns, while Aaron Rodgers took a seat, leading Green Bay to a thrilling 45-41 victory. But it wasn't exactly a flawless performance for the Packers, specifically their special teams. After nearly fumbling the ball in his own end zone on the game's opening kickoff, Pat Lee's struggles continued when he committed this self-inflicted safety on his very next kick return opportunity.
Seasons removed from 0-16 season. That ball, did he bring that back from over the goal?
Houston Texans Brock Osweiler's fumble pass. Broncos fans weren't happy when Brock Osweiler burned them to sign with the Houston Texans in the 2016 offseason, even though the Broncos monster was being groomed as Peyton Manning's successor. Osweiler had the chance to make a statement when his Texans visited Denver in a 2016 game, but the Bronco defense dominated Osweiler, who had a forgettable day, highlighted by this brutal fumble.
Four-man rush, and the ball slips out of his hand.
That's a fumble, but what's the flag?
Indianapolis Colts, the fake punt. The Colts were hosting the New England Patriots in a 2015 primetime contest, and as everybody knows, you can't beat the Patriots if you do really stupid things. Well, for some reason, the Colts thought that this fake punt would work against the Patriots. Spoiler alert, it didn't.
He'll snap it. Actually, Colt Anderson is behind him. And what in the...
Jacksonville Jaguars, Blake Bortles can't catch a break. The Jaguars will be criticized for a long time for keeping Blake Bortles around for 5 years, even though it was evident time and time again that he was not the answer. There were a lot of excuses to sum up Bortles' tenure in Duval County, but this unlucky break in the 2016 game against the Houston Texans stands out the most. Kansas City Chiefs Tyreek Hill's interception. Tyreek Hill is the fastest wide receiver in the NFL, and the Chiefs love to use him in gadget plays for a good reason. Guys like him don't come around very often. But we're sure Andy Reid would have loved a mulligan on this trick play that didn't work at all against the Denver Broncos. Just a tip, a wide receiver shouldn't throw the football unless he actually sees a wide open teammate. Los Angeles Chargers Travis Benjamin's safety. In football, the point is to move forward and try to get closer to the opposition's end zone. But Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Travis Benjamin didn't get the memo in this 2017 game against the Patriots. He muffed the punt and then ran backward into his own end zone, handing the Pats an easy 2 points.
Benjamin circles. Benjamin in trouble!
Los Angeles Rams, lateral gone wrong. When it comes to a lateral situation, NFL teams are like never expecting it to succeed. It will work once in a blue moon, but really, you know the odds are heavily against you. Now, when you kids practice laterals one day, make sure you don't take lessons from the Los Angeles Rams. In this instance, they showed us exactly how you don't run a lateral play.
Austin, it's taken by Philly and Brandon Graham.
Miami Dolphins, GARO'S gaffe. The Dolphins and Washington Redskins met in Super Bowl VII with Miami looking to complete the NFL's first perfect season. Miami was up 14-0 late in the fourth quarter, and kicker Garo Yepremian came out in an attempt to put the game on ice. Instead of clinching the game, however, the legend of GARO'S gaffe was born.
For a 42-yard field goal attempt, Earl Morrowville holding, and this kick.
The good news for Garo is that the Dolphins held on to win the game, thus completing the perfect season. Minnesota Vikings Jim Marshall's wrong way run. Jim Marshall was a centerpiece of the 60s and 70s Minnesota Vikings juggernaut. He anchored their legendary Purple People Eaters defense too. But unfortunately for Marshall, he's best remembered for this humiliating gaffe in a 1964 game against the 49ers. Marshall recovered a fumble, ran in the wrong direction, and surrendered a safety, all while believing he actually scored a touchdown.
Running the wrong way, and he's running it into the end zone the wrong way, thinks he scored a touchdown, he has scored a safety.
New England Patriots Tom Brady drops easy pass in Super Bowl 52. Tom Brady is a six-time Super Bowl champion, having come through in the clutch time and time again throughout his illustrious career. But Brady also has 3 Super Bowl losses on his resume, and one of those came against the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 52. That was thanks in large part to Brady dropping an easy pass on a trick play from Danny Amendola.
5 here, and now you got to flip back here to Danny Amendola, who throws, and it's great.
Ironically, Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles caught a TD pass on the Philly special trick play. The game came down to which QB had the better hands. Who'd have thought? New Orleans Saints John Carney misses extra point after River City relay. The Saints needed a win in Week 16 of the 2003 season against the Jaguars in order to keep their minor playoff hopes alive. New Orleans' season came down to a lateral play, and amazingly, they managed to pull off the historic River City relay.
Still alive. And they take that with the catch.
Now, kicker John Carney just had to kick a routine extra point to force overtime. The greatest play in franchise history turned out to be all for nothing. New York Giants miracle at the Meadowlands. The Giants needed a quarterback kneel down to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles in the 1978 home contest. It was as simple as that. But the Giants got way too cute on this one, and it cost them dearly. Quarterback Joe Pisaric tried handing the ball off to Larry Sonica instead of kneeling. And the rest is, as they say, history.
30 seconds, the Eagles have no timeouts. Wait a minute, here's a free foot, I don't believe it! The Eagles pick it up and Herman Edwards...
With that, the miracle at the Meadowlands was born. New York Jets the butt fumble. What else was it going to be? This was the most obvious entry on our list. Oh, poor Mark Sanchez. His tenure with the New York Jets was essentially summed up by this disaster during a nationally televised American Thanksgiving game. Those poor Jets fans. Oakland Raiders Derek Carr doesn't learn his lesson. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr made the headlines when he fumbled through the end zone during a 2017 home game against the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, it's a dumb rule. If you fumble through the end zone, it's a touchback. But surely Carr would have learned his lesson the first time, right? Nope. He did it again 2 years later against the Green Bay Packers.
Bounds before the ball came out. Third down.
We're going to see if that comes out and goes in the end zone. It's Green Bay's ball. Oh, that's out, Jim.
Philadelphia Eagles, Deshaun Jackson's rookie mistake. Deshaun Jackson is one of the game's most electrifying players of this era, but fair or not, many of us will simply remember him for one embarrassing miscue during his rookie season. Jackson thought he had recorded his first career touchdown in the Week 2 of the 2008 season against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Instead, D-Jack celebrated a little too early and cost his team an easy 7 points.
The evidence would lead me to believe that he did not break the plane before getting rid of the ball. And
the Eagles wound up losing by 4 points, so Jackson's rookie mistake was kind of costly. Pittsburgh Steelers Chris Boswell's horrible trick onside kick. The Steelers needed a miracle to come back against the arch-rival Ravens in a key 2016 AFC North showdown. Chris Boswell was tasked with executing an onside kick late in the game to keep their hopes alive. But Boswell tried some fancy soccer move or whatever you want to call it. And the Ravens weren't the least bit fooled. Not only that, but the ball went nowhere.
So there's the shift. Ravens respond. That thing went half a yard, then he just
Boswell hasn't tried that move ever since. It's not hard to see why. San Francisco 49ers BLY'S showboating goes awry. Bly was a two-time Pro Bowl corner who won a Super Bowl 34 ring with the St. Louis Rams. However, 49ers fans don't have the most fond memories of Bly, who played one season for the club in 2009. Bly picked off Matt Ryan during a 2009 game against the Atlanta Falcons. For some reason, Bly began showboating early, even though he was nowhere close to the end zone, and the result was disastrous. Seattle Seahawks Ruben Rodriguez's negative punt. Any punt that travels 30 yards or less is considered a disaster in the NFL, but former Seattle Seahawks punter Ruben Rodriguez took the term awful punt to a whole new level. Rodriguez spent 3 years with the Seahawks from 1987 to 1989. His most memorable moment in the Pacific Northwest was one he'd probably like to forget. On this play, the wind at Candlestick Park caused his punt to go for -4 yards. Yikes.
Gregory would be amused at this. Ruben Rodriguez in the wind at Candlestick Park. Didn't even get it to the line of scrimmage. Couldn't even down it himself. -4 yards on the punt.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers Michael Cohen throws interception after punt block. 2 for 1 on double whammy. Killing two birds with one stone. Call it whatever you want. Buccaneers punter Michael Cohen had a punt block during a 2012 game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Instead of cutting his losses, he got way too cute by catching the ball on the ricochet, attempting a pass that turned into a pick six. Tennessee Titans Darius Reynaud'S self-inflicted safety. The Titans visited the Steelers in Week 1 of the 2013 season, and Tennessee started off their season with a scoring play. The only problem, kick returner Darius Reynaud'S scored on himself. He thought he was taking a knee in the end zone for a touchback, not realizing that he accidentally committed a safety.
Not a touchback. Ball was not in the end zone when he touched it. He actually fielded.
On the bright side, the Titans did win 16-9, so Reynaud didn't cost his team anything here. Washington Redskins fake field goal, Hail Mary, whatever this is. The Redskins have been one of the NFL's biggest laughing stocks ever since Dan Snyder became owner 2 decades ago. He really could write a novel about the many Washington football debacles in the 21st century, or we could sum it up in a few seconds with this play.
And they'll send Gano in motion, and Smith with the rush will put it up.
At least the Capitals and Nationals are pretty good these days. Which do you think is the most embarrassing blooper in your favorite team's history? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.